Hello, hello, everybody. Today is another brand new day, the 26th day of Christmas, after Christmas, and that was Christmas has gone, and today is indeed the 27th day, not the 26th, and today is inside Liberia. Inside Liberia is looking at the event unfolding in Liberia. For those of you that don't know Liberia, Liberia is located on the west coast of Africa, and it has a president, and the president he's called George Manuel Weah. Today we want to look at presidential message, particularly so Christmas message. What does it all mean? What should a Christmas message include? So today we want to look at two countries as a way of looking at some of the basic things that should be included in the presidential message. So for purposes of today's discussion, we're going to look at the Christmas message that came from Liberia. And also we want to look at the Christmas message that came from Ghana and see whether we can make sense of the two messages. The purpose for this is to look at the presidential powers. Christmas messages are not mandated by the framers of the Constitution, but it is a tradition that when there is Christmas, the leader of the country speaks and then directs his message to his people. Why? Because the president is the chief of the executive branch of government, and he is overseeing the entire government as head of state, as commander-in-chief, as someone who the people look up to. So when there's Christmas coming, Christmas it doesn't mean that everybody are Christians, but Christmas being a tradition, especially in the case of Liberia, is about a leader looking at events over the year and carving a special statement. And some of those things that we expect to hear from a president is to hear the president admonishing his citizens, especially so on a difficult situation as the world is observing, like COVID-19, the surge of the virus. It may not be very serious in Liberia, but there are Liberians all over the world. So the president addressing the nation or delivering a Christmas message, he's not only speaking to those Liberians in the country, he speaks to Liberians all over the world. So then his message must be a message of giving hope to Liberians wherever they are, whatever condition they find themselves. And at least the president must look at whether the financial situation is good, whether the people were paid, those that are in the employ of government and private sector, whether they were paid. Talk to the children, some of whom may be in despair, worried about situations. So the president is expected to do that. But for purposes of what we are discussing, let's hear from George Weah, president of Liberia. What did he say when it comes to Christmas?
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you, my dear. Mary's born child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day, and men will live forever because of Christmas Day. Hark now, ye the angels sing, the new king's born today, and men will live forever because of Christmas Day. Long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible say, Mary's born child, Jesus Christ, was born on Christmas Day. Hark now, hear the angels sing, a new king's born today. And man will live forever because of Christmas Day. Hey, my Christmas oil, my Christmas oil, yeah. My Christmas oil, yeah. My Christmas oil, yeah. Hey, my Christmas, can't tell your Christmas, my Christmas on you too. Yeah, yeah. Merry Christmas and God bless all Liberian people. Yeah, yeah. Enjoy your Christmas. Merry.
Okay, that was the voice of George Weah, wishing Liberians a Merry Christmas. But was that presentation really presidential? In my mind, it was not. And I'm sure many of you may agree that that message was not presidential. That message was more of, it was playful. And Liberians, we have to speak to our leaders. Speak to your leaders if you want to see growth. If there are things that are wrong, you should speak to those things so that the next time the president is to address the nation or deliver a Christmas message, he will think twice before he releases any information. Those around the president, they should have allowed that video to come out at this kind of time. My Christmas on you, yeah. My Christmas on you, yeah. Come and take your Christmas. That's what he says. So it's like Liberian asking another Liberian, my Christmas is on you. He said, come and take your Christmas. What does that mean? That doesn't give any sound of seriousness. My Christmas on you, yeah. My Christmas on you, yeah. Come and take your Christmas. My Christmas on you too. I'm saying that's not presidential. The president is the head of state. The president is indeed the one who, when he speaks, every Liberians gather around radio station, Facebook pages, and listen to what the president has to say when it comes to Christmas. But I was being playful in my view. I mean, he's a leader as far as you lead. When you speak, there must be journalists making analysis of your speech. There must be ordinary citizens that will make analysis of your speech. There must be political parties that make analysis of your speech. As head of state, what are some of the things that are expected? Before we make full analysis, let's listen to Ghana's president. He delivered a Christmas message likewise. We want to listen to Ghana's president. He also delivered a Christmas message. Let's see what he said so that we can make some comparative analysis of the two messages.
Fellow Ghanaians, the season of Christmas is upon us again, signaling the end of yet another year. On behalf of the First Lady, my wife Rebecca, my daughters, my grandchildren, and my entire family, and on behalf of government, I send best wishes to all Christians in Ghana and indeed around the world for Merry Christmas. And best wishes for a Happy New Year to all Ghanaians and citizens of the world. As we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and as we give and receive His goodwill in this holy season, I urge all of us to bear in mind the true meaning of His life on earth. He was born to reconcile man to God, and in so doing, demanded that we love the Lord our God with all our heart and with all our soul and with all our might, and love our neighbors as ourselves. The cardinal principles of Christianity: charity, faith, humility, love, and reconciliation. should guide us in this festive season and beyond. I know these are difficult times for us. Undoubtedly, 2021 is proven to be a tough year, not only for us, but also for everyone on the planet. COVID-19 has affected every sector of the global economy and our national life. Nothing in its path has been spared its ravages. Our economy, which was growing at an average of 7% in 2017, in 2018, and in 2019, grew by 0.4% in 2020 because growth in industry, services, tourism, and manufacturing sectors will drive the economy and provide jobs for many Ghanaians, contracted dramatically in 2020 as a result of the sudden disruption in the global supply chain and the steep decline in the global economy, which sent the global economy into recession. This is the stark reality of the situation, not an excuse. Indeed, but for the bold and timely measures put in place by government to cushion Ghanaians against the worst effects of the pandemic, our situation would have been more precarious. For the purposes of propaganda and narrow partisan and parochial interests, some would have you believe that the difficulties we are facing are purely Ghanaian phenomena made by the NPP government under my leadership. Pay no heed to such persons. They know the truth, but cannot speak it. The significant fact for me is my determination to pull us out of this situation. Government has designed a solid program for the recovery and revitalization of the economy, which is the 100 billion CD Ghana Cares or Batampa program. We completed the implementation of the stabilization phase in 2021. We saw the economy grow at 6.6% in the third quarter of 2021, with a projected overall growth of 4.4% for 2021. 2022 and 2023 will be the years of recovery and revitalization and faster economic growth. Already, there are clear signs that the economy is bouncing back strongly, just as there are welcome indications that the global economy is also recovering.
I think we're unique because now, as you can see.
So that was the voice of the Ghana's president delivering a Christmas message to the people of Ghana. You heard him saying to the people of Ghana, in Ghana and all over the world. So he delivers his message to conscientize Ghanaian political parties, people of that country. His message is, he signified it, and he said to those Ghanaians who are Christians. And then he gave a summary note of the financial status of the country. He also looked into the direction of foreign activities, the global pandemic, and he cautioned Ghanaian. In Liberia, we also monitored George Weah lighting the Christmas tree. In that, he asked Liberians to love one another. That's good. We'd appreciated that. Then, on the other hand, George Weah releases what people describe as a new song or a new Christmas message. What did that message say to Liberian? Was the message presidential? Did the message come from a head of state? Yes, it came from a head of state, meaning someone who is sitting as president of that country. But the message said, "My Christmas on you, my Christmas on you, my Christmas on you, my Christmas on you. Come and take your Christmas." That's the president speaking. the president of Liberia was delivering his Christmas message to Liberians. Your Christmas on me. Come and take it. That's I think that was more cheeky from the president. Then my Christmas on you too. When people are in dying need of situations, when people have not been paid their salaries, when Christmas is around, you know very well that's not a Christmas we was celebrating when he was coming up. So he should be admonishing Liberians. That song was not presidential. If no one is to tell George we heard that, I hope he's listening. I am saying it so next Christmas, we will not hear that song. The president, those around the president, they should have carved a presidential message for the president to deliver. They should have briefly looked at situations around the country. We are not saying state of the nation. We are talking about Christmas message. Comparatively, if we just listen to the Ghanaian president delivering a Christmas message to Ghanaians. He summarized the state of affairs of Ghana. He spoke to Christians, Ghanaians who are Christians. He spoke about the foreign affairs of Ghana because he's the foreign chief. The man who controls the foreign affairs of the country is the president. The president is indeed the head of state. He's the father of the nation. He should have an effective skills of communication, those around him. That's why the president appoints his lieutenants. The press secretary should now be telling Liberians what was the president's message. When the president speaks, there are people who simplify the message of the president. That's why the government, the governing system, set a press secretary to the president, meaning when the president speaks, that needs interpretation. You must write a special press release or have special press conferences and explain the policy statement from the president's message. What was the message from the president's office? Can the press secretary tell us what the president said? That came from the office of the president. This is time that Liberia needs sophisticated people who will brainstorm on issues, especially when it comes to governance. If you are fortunate to work in the office of the president, that's an opportunity that you have amongst the nearly 5 million persons. So you are being paid government resources. You need to work, especially when you want to communicate on the workings of government. You must do what is required of you. The president gave his annual message in January. But for this time around, it is the Christmas message. It's a tradition. So the song did not give us any message. The only message I got from that song is my Christmas on you. Your Christmas on me. Come and get it. What's the meaning of that? We think that the best Liberia can do is to continue to strive for a better nation. Sometimes we compare what is happening in our own terrain to other countries and see whether we're getting the best out of it all. I played the two presidents' messages. I mean, the message of Kufuor and then the message of George Weah, so that we can compare all two and see where we can pick up the presidential messages and then compare all two and see where the nation will go. Probably the next Christmas season, by tradition, we will not hear a song, but we'll hear a catalog, of events, summary event as to what is happening in the country. The president is indeed the foreign chief. I mean, someone who manages the foreign affairs of the country. He should have a strong vision for the country's future. So every time the president speaks, he gives us hope for the future of the country. Every time the president speaks, we should see his ability to tell Liberians the current situation of the current affairs of the country. When the president speaks, we need to see what is known as encouraging Liberians. We know it's difficult time. If you went to Liberia right now, we all get on the internet, it's all different there. But let's keep encouraging one another. And the person fully responsible to do that is the president. When the president was announced that the president will give his Christmas message on certain time, Liberians get close to radio stations, television stations, all the social media platforms. People get anxious to hear what the president has to say. The president must be speaking to someone in Bokonjide. The president must be speaking to someone in Foya. The president must be speaking to someone in Cape Mount, Robertsport. The president must be speaking to someone right under his feet in Monserrado County. And his message should resonate with the people. The people must get hope from the president. That song, I'm not sure that any Liberian, some Liberian got message from it, especially those of the party. But most Liberians who probably needed to find clothes to put on their children and never had the means. I'm not sure they were curious to listen to such a message. So we want to urge the president and those especially in the office of the president may not know it all. When you have the opportunity to work in the president's office, you must think beyond yourself. You must think beyond the office you sit in and be able to say, Mr. President, this one, Mr. President, we beg you, we have to write a short statement for you to deliver. And when the president speaks, that brings honor to the office. That brings respect to all of you guys in the office of the president. But if all of you sat there and the president put all that video, I don't know what you think about it. And I don't want to belittle any of you. Most of you guys are smart. But hey, you have to get the guts to tell the president, Mr. President, we will write something short for you to deliver. And you do that, you bring honor. There are international partners. There are foreign missions around Liberia. When the president speaks, he's not only speaking to Liberians, he's speaking to all of these foreign dignitaries around Liberia. He's speaking to Liberians outside of Liberia. So we just thought that we will not allow this to pass. We need to discuss it. We listen to Ghana's president speaking to Ghanaians. Compare the two messages. And you say what the message meant to you. It's not only George Weah. Let's look at the previous president, their Christmas messages. Someone will say he has his own style, right? But if a certain president has his own style of delivering Christmas messages or message, we also have a right to make analysis of that message. What did that Christmas message mean to you and myself? Did we get courage from that message? Did we hear about maybe a summary message of foreign affairs of the country? Did we know when they're going to probably distribute the $4 billion that is already in the country? What's about those who were killed recently? The William Arrow top of the terror. Other Liberians that died under mysterious circumstances. What was the summary event? Someone says, have a reflection for a better decision. What was it? What reflection do we get from that message? So that we can all be sure of 2022 that's coming. I think much is expected from the president. He's the head of state of that country. When he speaks, people should listen. Which by now, from the Christmas message, Liberia should be proud because it's down. You have $4 billion in the country, and nobody knows what's going to happen. Up to this time, no Liberian can say when that money is going to come on the market. But you have told Liberian you have printed the money, it's in the country. So when you say you deliver a Christmas message, if the president would have even said, well, we have $4 billion in the country, and we're going to deliver or we're going to infuse the money in the economy, maybe bad this time. That would have been a topic for Liberian to discuss. But how many newspapers speak on the president's message? How many newspapers? Maybe you may say just maybe against the government, So he wanted to talk the way he's talking. But how many newspapers have said what the president said about his Christmas message? How many radio stations? You know, in communication, we say there are priority. Let me say order of importance. So you look at step one. What is it I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about the monetary policy of our country as head of state. 2, I'm going to talk about the foreign activities of our country. 3, I'm going to talk about health matters. 4, I'm going to talk about, the educational system. 5, I'm going to talk about generally, I'm going to look at Christmas. And I'm going to tell Christians, Liberians who are Christians, how to speak to them. Then Liberian will listen. Oh, yeah, the money coming. Let us assume the president spoke about the $4 billion and he said on New Year Day, the money will come into the economy. We're going to infuse the money, or we're going to infuse a certain amount into the economy on New Year Day or on the 26th. Everybody would have been curious to know what was going to happen. But my Christmas on you, yeah. My Christmas on you. My Christmas on you, yeah. Come and take your Christmas. For God in heaven's sake. For God in heaven's sake. My Christmas on you, yeah. My Christmas, your Christmas on me. Come and take it. Then my Christmas on you, yeah. My Christmas on you. My Christmas on you. My people, Liberia, we just witnessed the United States sending a telescope into space. Somebody will say, oh, that's a big country, right? But you must be able to challenge Liberians, the young people coming out. Some of them could be engineers. Some of them could be electrical engineers. Some of the big minds could come from that very country. But until that happens, you have to get leaders who will steer the ship in a direction that Liberians will be anxious. We didn't need to go into space, but there are a lot of other things we can do as a people. It shouldn't appear that Liberia don't have smart people. The reason why people lead is to look at the population that you have, the demographic that you have, and make a sound decision. When you're speaking every time, you got to remind yourself that you're speaking to a group of people. Are you going to challenge them? Are you going to encourage them? This is time that every nation is looking at issues that are unfolding. The global community, there is serious problem unfolding. So that time, probably, I may say, not looking at things in a very serious manner should be behind you after you have after 3 years gone. Well, those were just my words on the president's Christmas message, and I hope that many of you will take these kind of messages to Ataye centers, discuss the president's message. Newspaper, there must be some commentary. There must be ways that people, radio stations, everybody must get involved and discuss these things. Because guess what? If the president realizes that his message was not, well accepted by Liberians, he wouldn't repeat that next time. But a Liberian feel, okay, that was good. Okay, yeah, your clap. But trust me, there are diplomats in Liberia who are discussing the very messages that are coming from the executive mansion. But because they are diplomats, they're not going to tell you that, hey, this is not what we expect from a head of state. They're not going to tell you that. That's not their mission. They're not going to do that. They expect you, Liberian, to discuss the issue. You, Liberian, if you cannot discuss the issue, if you don't know what you need to hear, you expect the U.S. ambassador to tell you that? No, it's not his role. He's not going to tell you that. They probably sit in their own corner and just laugh about the message. You know what happens with that? It appears that Liberians in general do not have that capacity to think. And that is not true. There are more Liberians who are smarter, who can even challenge. Some of us are going around the world. We see what other Liberians are capable of doing. I was in Qatar 2006. There was a Liberian who was head of engineering the new airport they were building in that country. There are smart Liberians around the world. So the president must be able to speak to every Liberian. How to do that is not that message. That is not the message that Liberians want to hear. My Christmas on you, yeah, my Christmas on you. Come and take it, come and take it. No. That was not presidential. Hello? Yeah, I have said it. That was not presidential. Listen to Ghanaian, the Ghanaian president. The first thing he dealt with his own family first. Me, my wife, my children, my grandchildren. Now he began to discuss the issues. Talk about, Christians, like Ghanaians who are Christians. He distinguishes that. Then he goes into dealing with this issue just less than 5 minutes. He did. Give a summary view of his country. Look at the political atmosphere. Challenge those political parties who are in variance with his policy. Liberia, even the money, the president cannot speak about it. Those who have died, the president should have gathered report from at least the Justice Ministry and give a summary report of what the government is doing about those persons who got killed. Rather than my Christmas on you, yeah, my Christmas on you. Oh, your Christmas on me, come and take it. No. Please, those of you around the president, we know few of you who are smarter, but I don't know why. I let you decide on the top because guess what? Everybody wants to survive. But sometimes there's history that's going to judge all of you. Yes, there's history going to judge each of you. And think about it. The next 2-3 years, let's say next 2 years, you're going to go to election. If people take these tips to the campaign, I don't know what are you thinking faster. So, that's what I have to say this morning. The president's Christmas message, in my view, was not presidential. And those who failed are those who are around the president, not George Weah. Those of you around the president, it is you guys that failed. Because before such a video would have been posted, some of you guys would have think twice. No, Mr. President, I would have been George Weah around a cycle, and yet I would have said quietly, Mr. President, I would think so we must draft some kind of paper for you to deliver. Even one page would be better. First, Mr. President, can you call the central bank and tell them let it tell you when they're going to infuse the money, what time they can advise you? Mr. President, demand that from them. Call Simon 12. Mr. Simon 12, you and the central bank, you brought the money in the country. When do we think we're going to infuse the money? Liberians are anxious to know. If you are called the central bank governor, Mr. President, by this time they would have told you when they think the money can be infused in the market. Maybe they're just taking you out very likely because they know you're not going to be so serious about, okay, whether Liberians concerned about it or not. No, nobody cares. But if you are saying, look, central bank governors, this my Christmas message, I have to tell Liberian when we're going to infuse this money into the market. So give me, look, I tell you, in fact, tell the money is here. I'm giving Liberian the time we're going to infuse the money. If you don't want to infuse all of the money, what percentage of that money you want to infuse? You would have done that. Rather than my Christmas on you, yeah, my Christmas on you, then your Christmas on me, come and take it. That's been jovious, and that's been, in my view, unpresidential. It's not presidential. Oh yeah, when I compare that to that of Ghana, I will give Ghana president a passing mark. So, well, Liberians, this is Two-Way Radio, and this is Inside Liberia. We thought today to look at the presidential message. A president is the head of state of a nation. A president is the chief executive officer of a nation. The president is the commander-in-chief. He should have even spoken to the military. Encourage them. The president is the father of the nation. He should have spoken to the different homes. Not that video. That video, once again, was not presidential. Have a beautiful day, and those of you who had a good time for the Christmas, thank God. Those of you who did not, because of financial situation, we say keep hope alive. All is not lost. As long as you have life, there's hope. There's a better tomorrow. Thank you so much, and we hope the coming new year you have a beautiful and wonderful time. Thank you. This has been James Johnson with Two-Way Radio Inside Liberia. See you next time.